Hail to the Redskins, hail victory. Braves on the warpath, fight for ODC. Run past the score, we want a lot more. 5 turnovers doesn't matter, keep on scoring. 5 touchdowns for Jayden Daniels, winning Washington. Fight, fight, fight. That's what I'm talking about. That game was crazy. I done found Commander sunglasses, hats, got the new sweatshirt in, got the name. It's a legend, man. Everything is, ooh, what a game. That was crazy. I was in my living room hollering, y'all, going insane. 36-33. That's something I tell you. There's something about this Jayden Daniels. When you have him on your team, it's all good. You're like, hey, we still got time. We got a chance. And on the TV call, Greg Olson was like, hey, it's gonna come down to the timeouts and how you handle yourself and how the time gets passed. And Jayden Daniels is calm and there was a moment where I guess Crowder didn't get the check for it to be an RPO, and then Jayden wisely made it a quarterback draw. Then he gets down there, and that throw to Crowder for the touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown, the game-winning touchdown. Whew, the anticipation. He knew his guy was traveling faster than the linebacker who was facing this way. The linebacker's facing this way. Jamison is running that away. He threw the ball because he knew this linebacker wasn't going to be able to turn it. That only happens on Madden. That only happens in the game. But that throw right there, anticipation, awareness, the touch. Oh my God. I was talking to Mike Gill, and I said, Mike, having Jamison Crowder at slot receiver right now at this time of year, huge because you got somebody that's reliable. And what has he done? Showed up twice, 2 touchdowns out here, actually balling, having a hell of a day. Olamide Zaccheaus making some plays. He had that ugly drop earlier, but he bounced back with 2 touchdowns. The one where it was 12 men on the field, and then they throw it to him. He breaks 2 tackles and gets it in the end zone. Y'all, the vibes are good. The vibes are good. Welcome into Believe in Commanders. If you didn't know, if you hear, you know where you see it at the top. Believe in Commanders. You see my name at the bottom, Anthony Armstrong, the original 1-3. Oh my Lord. This team has found yet another way to win. They have found yet another way to win. That's what it is. Hey, you come into this game 3.5-point dogs. All right, over there at Bet Online. Bet Online, your number one source for all your sports betting. You could have been betting on this game during because they have live odds and spreads. They have other sports, NBA. They got NBA basketball coming up. Mavericks are playing on Christmas Day, so get in on that matchup over there at Bet Online. Use that promo code Believe BLEAV to get that 50% welcome bonus. But man, back to the Magic. Back to the Magic. This Jayden Daniels is special. Let's just start there. I can read stats. You know, the kid is special. And I spent this entire offseason talking to as many people as I could that covered the team, covered LSU. We've spoken to Blake Ruffino. We've spoken to Mike Marlon Favor, right? We've spoken to the various Lake Lewis, the guys that are up there, you know, around him and just listening to everybody else talk about it. I'm like, you don't have to talk to Jayden Daniels to know about Jayden Daniels. You know what I mean? There's something, you know when somebody is magnetic. You know when somebody is a leader. You know when somebody is able to, change the tide and determine the direction of a team. I mean, they said it before, way back in the game against Chicago. They were like, well, if you got Jayden Daniels back there, you got a chance. Hail Mary happens. You come into this matchup down to the wire. You got the guy back there. He leads you in rushing, 9 for 82. He ends up having 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions on the day, 24 for 39, 257 yards. You can assume he's going to get himself yet another Pepsi player, offensive rookie of the week. So make sure y'all go run those numbers up, vote for that. But Jayden is special, man. He's special. I mean, he's when he was running, it looks like you think he's going to slide, but it's not like the fake slide. Like you just feel like this would be a time to slide, but then he continues to run. And man, 1 sack on the day, 3 yards. 99 rating. Shout out to the offensive line for that. That one of the interceptions, he got when he got a little confused. Both of them went to Luke, and so then you're the new person, new positions, and Vic Fangio dialed some things up. He dialed some things up, but man, Jayden Daniels had enough magic. He had enough magic left for him. Looking at the running game, you see B Rob. I mean, nothing else outside of Jayden. Nothing else outside of Jayden. But really, the way the game started, this is really a tale of. I mean, when did you look at the box? Look at the scores. 21 points for Philly in the first quarter, to Washington 7. Then it's 7 Washington, 0 for Philly in the second quarter. So you go into the half 21-14. Right there, you feel like things have changed. I mean, obviously Jalen Hurts going out. Saw that on the play. I was like, ooh, he looked like he might be a little woozy. And then they took him out, and then he stayed out. And I was like, oh, okay, so he might, something may really be up. I thought initially Philly was trying to wait as long as possible because things had looked to be in hand. But then eventually you see Hurts was diagnosed with a concussion, so he was out. But the way the game started, it was ugly. Can't lie. Ooh, can't lie. It was like, man, you come out here and you get punched in the mouth, right? And with the old Mike Tyson quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Washington got punched in the mouth. Saquon Barkley had 100 and some odd yards in the first quarter, 2 touchdowns, untouched. And it was like, oh, this isn't really how I saw this one going. But man, they came out with some fire. Marshawn Lattimore, the matchup with AJ Brown, even though AJ ended up with a solid day. 15 total targets. They said we throwing it over there. It sucks that Lattimore went out with a hamstring, so hopefully he's going to be able to, get back here in these coming weeks. But man, I mean that matchup kind of worked out well for a little while until he went out with that hamstring. But man, the receiving core, who was going to get active outside of Terry McLaurin? Olamide Zaccheaus, he led the way, 5 for 70, 2 touchdowns, had that longer 49 at the end. That was a big play. Like, I don't know where the communication was going on, but it was a wonky game with penalties and 12 men on the field in multiple situations and the player getting disqualified, interceptions and fumbles and just starting quarterback out. Like, what? Nobody had any of these occurrences to show up, but hey, you know what? You don't apologize for these things. This is how the game played out, and you take it. Eliminate, like I said, 5 for 70. Terry McLaurin, 5 for 60 with a touchdown. He got going early, had 6 targets total. Things kind of got shifted a little bit later on, but I think that the offense did a good job. They did a good job working their way to get the ball to other players, and finding a way to move the ball down the field, especially late in the game. Because you didn't have as many choices. De'Ami Brown he was rolling a little bit. That fumble, I hated that for him. And then he had the hamstring late, but 4 for 56 for De'Ami, long 51, 5 total targets. Man, I was loving to see his role starting to grow because I think he could really start to carve out a niche, and with the missing component for this offense being some downfield speed. But now he's going to have to make sure we got to get him back healthy. B Rob 2 for 17, Jamison Crowder 2 for 15 and 2 touchdowns. Just way to be efficient. That's it. I was telling Mike Gill. I said, look, Jamison Crowder is like the vet that you see on the end of the basketball roster. And he's the 11th, 12th man. He's OG. All he do is he got ice packs on his knees. But when he's there for the last 20 games of the season, he's there for that last quarter of the year. That's what Jamison Crowder is. The man hadn't played football since last September. He jumps out, has 2 touchdowns. Like, he's making an impact on third down. He's there. He's reliable. He's got good hands. When it's a punt return, you feel like you can get up and go to the bathroom during the break. You know what I mean? Because you don't have to worry about anything crazy happening. Like, he's a reliable player, man. And I'm glad he's back. But he's an OG vet that's just doing what he does. 2 touchdowns on the day. Shout out to him, man. McNichols, McCaffrey. I think Luke McCaffrey is so close to breaking a kickoff. He's so close to breaking the kickoff. Like if he just would look at the film of these kick returns, and he's gonna be like, oh man, if I was just one bounce, one lane over to the left or the right, I'm probably running, hitting my head on the goalpost, as they say. Receiver corps, man, they made it happen. They made it happen going up against the tough. I mean, hell, you have 5 touchdowns. That's a hell of a day. But they made it happen because it was going to, just everybody else. I mean, let's talk about the play to Terry. That play to Terry, you got the unblocked defender once again, a la the Cincinnati game. And the thing about Jayden is that he understands the spacing and the depth that he has when somebody is blitzing. He understands he does have time to throw the ball, even though it appears like somebody is right there. That's what he's expecting, the blitz. Now you go back and you look at the other one, like if you're not expecting it, that's a different thing. The person can spook you and make you feel like, oh, he's here a lot quicker than I was anticipating. But him and Terry are in sync on that play. Love seeing that deep pass right there. So that puts Terry over 1,000 yards on the season. Yet again, over 1,000 yards, man. Give that man a round of applause. Terry McLaurin, congratulations on another magical season, man. 12 touchdowns, second in the league in touchdowns as well. But let's look at this defensive side, man. Look, this is the straight up defensive. It might be the player of the game. I mean, yeah, you're going to say Jayden is. But on that defensive side, man, you got to circle Frankie Louvu, number 4, 4 and 5, 5 and 4. However you want to roll it out. Those two guys right there have been lights out for this team. Frankie Louvu, 7 total tackles, 3 solo, 2 tackles for loss. And the one where he anticipated the snap count. He splits and dips inside of the tight end to make the tackle for loss, because whatever happened, I know that when Jalen Hurts goes out, it changes your focus on how you're going to handle that. The Philadelphia run game, you don't have to necessarily think so much about that quarterback run option. But that second half defense, and really after that first quarter, when things changed, they made a point to shut down Saquon Barkley, and they changed the way that game was able to be rolled out. Frankie Louvu was a big part of that. The interception, I mean, just playing with the quarterback's eyes, understanding that you're going to bait him into a situation here. This is when you start to see defenses grow and mature, because he understands, hey, I'm going to fake here, but I'm dropping back underneath. Hey, man, shoot. A.J. Brown or a tight end, I think it was Calcaterra, maybe, right? You got those two guys. Of those two players, who would you be throwing it to? Yes, I know what the read says, wherever the linebacker goes to, but honestly, you want to get it to A.J. Brown. So him understanding that and baiting the quarterback to make that decision, and knew he had enough time to fake one way and work back underneath. Thing of magic. It was beautiful. He had a hell of a day. Bobby Wagner, once again, leading the way. He's 9 total tackles, 8 solo, 1 pass defense, 1 quarterback hit. What we had there? Johnny Newton high on the tackles list, 6 total, 5 on the solo tackle, 3 tackles for loss, man. Back there, and another quarterback hit. Jeremy Chin flying around. Man, I got to say, shout out to Marshawn Lattimore, man. He had a hell of a matchup. It sucks that he got hurt late with the hamstring, went out, but 3 passes defensed. I think they were a little bit flag happy on some of those PIs. And a couple of them, hey, you know what? That's part of the game. But to know that you had somebody over that was going to handle that challenge, and still AJ still had a day. But those dudes battled, man, and I was here for it. I enjoyed watching those two battle. Cleveland Farrell, big strip sack, late 2 quarterback hits on the day. He came through big. You see 4 sacks total for this defense, 9 tackles for loss. I did see him play Jordan McGee on kickoff. He was running down on kickoff, and the lead returner did his job to cut off the first man down, but he sure paid for it. Jordan McGee probably got the hit of the game in my eyes. So go find that clip. But as the NFC East is sitting right now, Philadelphia, they fall to 12-3. And Washington has now ended that winning streak. They're still sitting atop the division. You know, Philly, whatever. Philly's doing whatever they got to do. Washington has handled their business right now, sitting at 10-5. And we know that there is a scenario in which, with a little bit of assistance from some other teams, and some potential results, Washington could find themselves in the playoffs. So, you know, now we get to enjoy the rest of the day, right? And so we'll look at the playoff picture posted 2 minutes ago. Bleacher Report right here. So it's the NFL playoff picture for 2025. The Cowboys and the 49ers have been eliminated. So there's that. So Washington fans, you get to have two ways to celebrate today. Dallas has been eliminated, and you've also got a big win over a division opponent. Right now, looking at the NFC playoff bracket, the Lions are sitting at number one. Obviously, we had those matchups there. The Lions were battling with the Bears. But let's see. The Lions they're clinched already. Philly's they've clinched the berth, but they're sitting at 2. The Rams are at 3. Tampa's at 4 at 8-6. Minnesota clinched the playoff berth. They're at 12-2. Washington now still 7th at 10-5. The Green Bay Packers are 10-4, and the Buccaneers are 8-6. So just due to the whole division thing, we're going to be relegated to being in that bottom portion. But we're doing our job. We're doing our part right there. Now let's see what was the scenarios to get the Commanders into the playoffs this week. All right, so here we go. This is from commanders.com, Zach Selby. Shout out to Zach. So they came into this thing. This is the scenario. With the win over the Eagles, they've handled that. Now they need a Falcons loss and a loss and tie and a Seahawks loss and tie to clinch the playoffs this week. All right, so they would need the Falcons and the Seahawks to lose this week. Since they've already done their portion, they've done their part with a win. They've also had this win, and they could go with a Falcons to lose or tie, or the Rams to lose or tie to get in. So they've done the part. We don't have to worry about the other ones. So now you're paying attention to that Rams game and that Seahawks game. And as of this recording, the Seahawks are 7-7 in the second quarter against Minnesota. Looks like the Seahawks are about to punt the ball back to them. And the Rams game, I saw that one was going on earlier. Where are you at? The Rams. So, you're getting to watch a couple of the games. That Falcons game, the Falcons did get a W. So then those two scenarios, I guess you got to wait now. So all that stuff I just read, throw it out the window. But hey, enjoy the fact that the Dallas isn't going to the playoffs. The Dallas is not going to the playoffs with a huge win all around. My parting it's like, here's my thing. The way that this game went down is I knew coming into this thing that Washington was going to have to find another way to win. All right, that's all they've done this year is find ways to win. And in the past, what would happen? One, you wouldn't be in this spot right now. You'd be going to the game because you already had tickets. You wouldn't be going to the game because you knew there was something that's going to come from it. All right, you know that this team has a chance to win ball games. They have a playoff hopes that are right there down the line. They're magical. It's been a magical season to be a part of. And they found yet another way to win. One of the most telling stats that I heard, or just facts that I heard while watching the game, is that Deron Payne, out of the starters for today, Deron Payne is the only one that was a starter from last season. You talk about the turnover, you talk about the change, you talk about adjusting a culture. I mean, they've done all of that in such a short amount of time, and you're reaping the benefits on the field. So, hail to the Commanders, man! Hail to this organization. Raise hail. They've been kicking ass, and you got a big game coming up next week. All right, you got a big game coming up next week. You got the Falcons. It's gonna be Michael Penix Jr. Then you got a game against Dallas. It's going to be Cooper Rush. All right, but enjoy this one, man. 24-hour rule is in full effect, but enjoy this one to the fullest. 36-33 in comeback fashion. Nonetheless, Commanders get that dub, y'all. Y'all stay safe. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the victory.